support communities that want to set up their own internet infrastructure and eliminate barriers to publicly owned broadband. In his announcement, President Obama talked about community broadcast success stories like Cedar Falls, Iowa, Lafayette, Louisiana, and Chattanooga, Tennessee. He explained that these cities have internet speeds nearly 100 times faster than the national average, and they deliver it at an affordable price. Despite this clear evidence to support publicly owned internet providers, there are laws in 19 states that make it harder for communities to set up their own system. Expanding broadband in communities across our country would create jobs, keep internet prices low, and connect millions of people to the World Wide Web. So why aren't we expanding public broadband nationwide? Kansas Governor Sam Brownback wants school children to pay for his bad economic decisions. Back in 2012, Governor Brownback eliminated all state income taxes for businesses and set his state up for massive budget shortfalls. Rather than reversing course on his tax cuts to cover this year's $200 million budget gap, the governor wants to cut education funding. In his recent State of the State address, Governor Brownback quoted a 3-judge court panel that recently reviewed education funding. He read from the ruling saying, quote, "One cannot classify the school financing structure as reliably constitutionally sound," end quote. However, he left out the judge's main point, that education funding is too low to abide by the Kansas state constitution, which sets minimum levels. Brownback can use all the out-of-context quotes that he wants, but doing so won't fix his state's failing budget. People of Kansas need to wake up and demand that Governor Brownback reinstate taxes on businesses and that he keeps his hands off education funding. And finally, in 2014, Thomas Piketty's book, Capital in the 21st Century, sparked a national discussion about income inequality in our nation and, frankly, around the world. This year, that same book may be responsible for workers at one of our nation's largest insurance companies getting a hefty raise. Last week, Aetna CEO Mark Bertolini announced that his lowest-paid employees were getting a big pay bump. That company will increase their base wage to $16 an hour, which means that about 5,700 workers will see their pay go up between 11 and 33%. After reading Piketty's book on inequality, Mr. Bertolini decided that his company should do more to close the income gap. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Bertolini said, "It's not just about paying people. It's about the whole social compact. Why can't private industry step forward and make the innovative decisions on how we do this?" In addition to fighting inequality and improving the lives of workers, these raises will have big benefits for Aetna as well. Bertolini predicts that better pay will reduce turnover and increase performance at the company and create a better and more informed workforce. While it shouldn't be innovative to recognize the value of treating your workers well, it's great to see private industries stepping up and working to create a future of shared prosperity. And that's the way it is for the week of January 19th, 2015. I'm Thom Hartmann on Economic and Labor News. Interesting. Over at the Center for American Progress's blog, Think Progress, the official website for House Republicans has posted on YouTube a doctored version of President Obama's State of the Union address, which cuts out comments where the president was critical of Republican rhetoric on climate change, Think Progress has learned. In the website's enhanced webcast of the State of the Union speech, President Obama's comments criticizing Republicans for saying they're not scientists when it comes to climate change are erased. Wow. Similarly, by the way, and then I'm going to pick up your phone calls. This is not the end of all my rants or all our clips, and we've got 3 hours here to play with this stuff. But this morning, I was dismayed. I know I have a couple of friends who always refer to NPR's National Petroleum Radio, and as Louise and I, we are there. We were listening. We were just, tuning around this morning and listening to NPR and Mara Liasson, their political reporter or White House reporter or whatever she is. I think main political person is also a Fox News guest. In fact, they had to apparently change their ethics rules at NPR to allow her to go on Fox News all the time. And I don't know if she did this or if this is just no, it wasn't. Okay, Shano says it wasn't Mar-a-Lago, so I shouldn't pick on Mar-a-Lago here. So very, very few Democratic senators who support the Keystone XL pipeline and then ask them about this. Because NPR has a history of basically not telling the whole story on Keystone and kind of sideways promoting it. And here's what I heard on the radio this morning. We've got the setup, and then the first answer we edited out because it was just about the speech, because it gets right to what really I think the only reason that Heidi Heitkamp from North Dakota, a state that is producing oil that will go down the Keystone XL pipeline, and therefore North Dakota and Heidi Heitkamp are in favor of it, which actually makes a certain amount of sense. She's doing what her state wants, right? But she's an outlier among Democrats, and which is a problem for the president. But anyhow, here it is.
All morning, we're hearing reaction to President Obama's State of the Union address. We're joined now by Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp from North Dakota. Welcome to the program. Let me ask you about something the president did not touch on, and I know concerns you coming from a state that has been having